Welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Mac, we have to get into week 11. I can't believe it's week 11. That is mind-blowing. But we need to start with this playoff poll because, I think, we're at a point now where I feel like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Like, they don't want the ACC involved, really. And of course, you've got, all of this goes back to Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. That was the end of everything. And certain people were very involved in that are also involved with the playoff committee, etc. Anyway, here's our poll, Mac. Virginia's at 14, Louisville at 15, Georgia Tech 17, Miami 18, Pitt 24. That's a positive. We talked about how Pitt was going to be ranked. Mac, what were your initial thoughts, my friend?
It is interesting because, first of all, with the lack of YouTube TV, it's a little hard to watch, hard to find, which is very frustrating to me. But hey,
Mac, you just got to live in the old world like my husband and I. My husband refuses to ditch cable because he never wants to be behind on a stream. So we've got that cable box.
Smart. Good for y'all. Y'all have figured it out. Y'all figured it out. So it was difficult to watch. I was back and forth, like trying to watch it on my phone. And then, it's funny because you're just like seeing it's like, just content overload. You just don't know. You're like, okay, what am I watching? Sure. What am I seeing? And then you start diving into it. So at first I was like, okay, whatever. It's a good starting point. And then I start really diving into it. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, this is nuts when I see it. First of all, my overarching thing, I do want to say this and get this out there. The fact that the American has so many great teams for the G5 and no one's ranked in the G5 is insane to me. The fact that we have 3-loss Tennessee,
of course,
and we don't have Memphis or USF or North Texas in here is crazy to me. Is absolutely crazy and just super typical. As we know, which is just so frustrating to see that. Because one of those teams got to get in. I don't know if you know this, playoff committee, but one of them is getting a free spot. So you might as well rank them anywhere in your top 25 here. And second reaction was Pitt ranked. I thought that was, I expected it. I guess I shouldn't, but I did. And I'm happy for them. I think that's really exciting. They have a bye week this week, so they cannot hurt us, KG. So Pitt will be ranked when they play Notre Dame, here in a couple of weeks, which is very exciting.
Love it.
Miami, I was interested where they would end up. And I was more so interested in where would Notre Dame end up, pending where Miami was. And the fact that Notre Dame was 10 is baffling to me. It's crazy to me when you sit here and look at that. How they're there and how Miami is so far behind and the week one versus, a loss. And I get it. You can sit here and say one team's look extremely better than the other. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But it is fascinating to me. But I think my biggest quarrel, honestly, is that Louisville, who Taylor Tannenbaum actually talked me into this a little bit. She was hitting me with some facts here, should be in front of everybody, maybe up to 9. And maybe 8. Should be 8. It is crazy to sit here and look at the fact that you have multiple 2-loss teams ahead of them, but in particularly a team in Notre Dame. And that's my biggest quarrel. So if that's my biggest quarrel, I think they should be ahead of them. I think Louisville should at least be 10 in the country. You look at who they've played, and I'm just going to read. I don't love to just kind of read things off, but I want to read this to y'all just so you can understand. Notre Dame has played 2-7 Arkansas. Ooh. Big win there. 5-4 NC State, 2-7 Purdue. G5 Boise State, 6-2 USC. Good one. They're ranked. I think they're top 20. They're up there. Thank God. 1-8 Boston College that they could not run the ball on. Outside of one 90-yard pop, which it happened, and that's a big deal. Could not run the ball all game long. We've seen multiple ACC teams blow the doors off of Boston College. Lost to the 2 teams that they played that were good. Texas A&M and, oh my God, Miami. They lost to Miami. Louisville beat Miami. Louisville has a better record. Louisville has a better strength of record. I don't understand, KG, when I hear these people talk and I hear others talk, even some that I do things with where they say, well, they only lost by 1. They lost. I don't understand. They lost. I don't care. They lost. They have more losses than this team does. This team also in Louisville has better wins and a better win than you do. It is so biased and unbelievable when I see it. I'm going to stop talking for 1 second, but I have thoughts on GT too. Go ahead.
You're right. They only lost by 1. Hilarious. That team is there. That team has 2 losses just like Notre Dame. They don't want the ACC involved. They're going, above and beyond to keep them as low as possible. Obviously, the champion will get in. But when you look at Miami, I think the Notre Dame quarrel with Notre Dame not really having beaten anybody, having lost to the 2 best teams they played in Miami and Texas A&M and being ranked so highly, they do this with Notre Dame every year. I mean, it's just how it works. But it's very frustrating, and you'd think Miami would get more credit for beating Notre Dame. The other team that is baffling, that I think relates to a team like Miami, is Texas. Texas, they lost to 3-5 Florida. Miami whooped 3-5 Florida. Texas's best win is against Oklahoma when John Mateer basically didn't have a hand. And I'm not sure how good Oklahoma is. I thought Oklahoma was also very highly ranked or overrated. And then Texas out here struggling with Kentucky, struggling with Mississippi State. When they're talking about this new strength of record metric, first of all, can we see it? Can we see how it's calculated? No, of course not, because it's calculated by what conference patch you wear on your jersey. That's the reality. And they want it to be the SEC Big Ten Invitational, and that's obvious. I think we all knew that. But I do think you're going to alienate some fans, and I guess they don't care because all they really want is our SEC and Big Ten fans. But it's just sad to see, Mac. It's really sad. Now, from a positive, Virginia obviously has every chance in the world. All these teams do to win the ACC. But the one thing I want to throw at you, and then let's get to Georgia Tech. When I look at Miami, I don't think Miami's done yet. Now, they need to win out, and they got to fix their issues, which we're going to talk about against Syracuse. But here's what Miami needs. They need Notre Dame to win out and look like the greatest team imaginable. If you're Miami, I know this is terrible for you, but you got to root for Notre Dame, and you've got to make sure Notre Dame's beating everyone that they possibly can. The other thing I think you want, if you're Miami, you want Louisville to win the league. I think if Louisville wins the league, Louisville wins out, they win the ACC, you finish 10-2, and you lost on the road to SMU, of course, and you lost to the ACC champion, and you beat Notre Dame, you have a true shot of getting it.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong there. So, Miami fans, hold on to that and celebrate and be joyous for that. I guess. I do want to go back to the Texas Oklahoma thing, because that, to me, again, the fact that they are so high is so bonkers. And people's argument, well, look at Texas lately. They're playing so good. Are they? Are they playing so good? Yes, Arch is coming off a really good game. Right. They're not good. They can't run the ball. The offensive line has struggled. And you say, oh, well, of lately they've played really good. Awesome. That was against Kentucky, who's one of the worst teams in the league, Mississippi State, who is the worst team in the league, and Vanderbilt is still Vanderbilt. I know people want to say, this ain't your grandma. It is. It is still Vanderbilt. At the end of the day, it's just juiced up with a little money in his pocket walking around. It's the same Vanderbilt. And so at the point of it is, you look at them, you look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's their biggest thing of the season was John Mateer and that defense. John Mateer is hurt, is not the same quarterback, cannot do the same things. That defense has given up huge plays as of recently. Those two teams have no business being in the top 12. And the funny part of it is, even though they are in the top 12, they're out of the playoff as it is today, because if it stopped right now, they're replaced by the group of 5 and the ACC. And that, to me, is funny, but it's annoying, because why set the precedence of that? Why put those ACC teams behind when you know you're not even getting in? So it's such a just bonkers thing, KG, to me. And it was funny. You hear the chairman's statement, and he's talking about the top 3. And he's saying, we watch these games and we see these coaches. We've got 3 coaches on our staff. They watch these guys. And I have no doubt about it that they watch the top 3 teams. But when you sit here at Georgia Tech in a press conference after you're on TV and you say that NC State whipped them on both sides of the ball, do you know how stupid you sound? You're an idiot. Haynes King had 500 yards of all combined yards. What are you talking about? What do you mean? And so Yeah, I'm frustrated about it. I'm frustrated about it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's time after time. And I think obviously I'm going to be pissed about the ACC stuff, but the fact that you have a 3-loss Tennessee team and no group of 5 who is in this playoff, like it'd be one thing if they weren't and whatever. Okay, great. But they're in it. And the fact that there's great opportunity, great options to rank is just, it's just baffling to me.
But
so
that's all, Mac,
here we
that's
go,
all
year in and year out. That's what we do.
That's the self-fulfilling prophecy of it all. If you rank Tennessee, then Oklahoma's got a good win. Like, you know what I mean? It's all that way. I also think Miami, now you're torn here if you're Miami, but you don't necessarily want Pitt to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But you want Pitt to be ranked when you play them. Right. So you want Pitt to play Notre Dame close, I guess. But I think overall, if you're Miami, you want Notre Dame to win out, and you need Louisville to win the league. And then I do think you have a shot. Because crazy things can happen. Like, there's nothing that is less important than the playoff poll on November 4th.
Sure.
So,
sure. I do think it sets a standard, though. Like, it does. I agree. Pole position is important.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And that's why I think I get so frustrated, and you guys saw it on Sunday night, whenever you watched it, why I get so mad when the ACC doesn't, because I know you're not getting the benefit of the doubt. I can sit here, and KG can sit here, and on the huddle, and whatever else you might watch that is relatively affiliated with the ACC, we can all scream, kick, and cry as we've done for 6 years. And it's not going to change until you win the games on the field. And even the I don't know what to call him. The chairman of this thing literally said in a quote, they have not impressed with their out of conference winning. And it's just like, I know that. I know. Yeah. And so it is frustrating. And I'll throw one more comparison and we can move on if you want to. I have a problem with Oregon too. I thought Oregon would fall a little bit, but when I look at them and I look at their strength of schedule and who they've played and how close some of these games have been played, the fact that they got blown out by double digits by Indiana, they have no ranked wins. You look at Louisville, they have 2, and they have a closer loss where their team just fumbled away and gave it away. They didn't get physically dominated. Virginia had to have 2 defensive scores to win that game. And so that's what's so baffling to me is the lack of respect for Louisville, for the ACC, for Miami, for like all these guys. It's just, I don't know. It's concerning. And I would say just win. And maybe that is the case for at least one of y'all. That's one of your teams to get in. But at the end of the day, we've seen it manipulated where they're not in. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
I would be very curious to see if Louisville had beaten Virginia, where they would even be as an undefeated.
Right, probably 12 behind a couple of 2-loss teams.
And it is unfortunate that the ACC did win non-conference games, but then those teams have stumbled. So Virginia and Louisville, their non-conference schedules were trash.
Right.
So that's the problem. Then you've gone on to win. And I know Louisville fans, they talk about how they had Indiana scheduled and then that got moved. So I totally get that. Yeah. But then you have Miami with their non-conference wins, Florida State with their non-conference wins, and they just fall apart in ACC play. So, of course, like you always say, Mac, the ACC cannot have nice things. But we do have some big games to talk about this weekend. So let's get to a message from Ingles. You might need some comfort food, as we've been discussing. Throw something in the crock pot for a long weekend of watching the ACC and just hoping that the better teams win, unless you're a fan of another team, I understand. So let's get to a message from Ingles, and then let's get to these games.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Okay, Mac, let's get into these football games because the committee wants us to know they are watching, Mac.
Allegedly.
So
Can't
I hope
confirm or deny.
they are watching these games. I know. Let's start with Virginia. If you missed our interview with Chandler Morris, Virginia's quarterback, go check it out. We put that on Wednesday. It was a really fun sit down with him and a guy that Mac has known back when Chandler Morris was a coach's kid at Clemson running around the facility. So those are some great stories. So let's talk about the Who's, and this is where Mac and the Huddle are headed. Number 14, Virginia will host Wake Forest, 7 o'clock ESPN. Still 6.5 is what I'm seeing, Mac.
Yep.
The S&P rankings, this is from intern Nick, has Virginia as about a 10-point favorite. So very interesting to see the difference here. This series is an interesting one, Mac. When you look back at their last 5 meetings, which they don't play every year because they were in different divisions, but Wake Forest has won 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two. Virginia did win last year, barely, and it was a very close game. So historically, these two play some close games. I said this on our Chandler Morris episode, and I still believe it. I feel like Cal was more of the trap game than this one, but I see some Virginia fans in there saying, I feel this feels like a trap game as well. So let's just start there, Mac. Do you think it has any sort of trap game tendencies here?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing
is really what they were talking about because you're out too.
Right. The interesting thing when I think of a trap game, I think of no juice. I think of a weird time window, and that's like you get lulled to sleep and a big opponent, which they do have that next. But for me, the fact that the Huddle is going to be there, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of juice around that.
Means there's a lot of juice, man.
But also, you're ESPN at night. Like this is all attention, all eyes on you. I don't that to me that can't be a trap game, right? Like when you have that ability, you're at home, excited about the team, the fans, the community's juiced up. On top of you're getting by the skin of your teeth, 4 of the last 5 games. So I think that they've been trapped, and I think they're breaking out of the trap. That's what I think. Not to say that Wake can't play out of their mind. We've seen that, and we've seen them play really, really well, and styles make fights, and I think that there could be something here. But at the end of the day, can Virginia continue to run the ball well? Can they continue to not turn the ball over? And I said this after we talked to Chan, I'm saying it again right now. I love that he kind of had that self-reflection of, I'm being selfish. I was trying to take the deep shot or trying to do this and that, and it burned them. And it almost cost them, a loss, here and there. And so for him to know that, for him to understand that, that's big. That's a real thing. Because it's bad when you're like, no, man, I'm just trying to make a play. No. Operate the offense. Yeah. Do what we do. Find the right answer. Look at the coverage. Know where to go with the football. And he does know that, and he's going to be able to do it. Again, to see Harris ball out the way that he is, Ross, getting back healthy, his first game back against Cal, continuing to see those guys, do their thing and just have that balanced attack. Not 50-50, but if they're giving you a light box, we need to be able to run the ball. I'd also like to see Chandler, and we always make the joke about a Virginia quarterback being wheeled out there, full body cast, open it up, go play. I do think there's something about him running the ball. Like it is good, and it's a special piece, of this offense. Can November on, can he rally and continue to be that guy? I think will be a really big piece for the Who's here.
Yeah, I agree, Mac. And it seems that he has figured out how to still be himself, but also operate in the offense a little more, which is what they need. This running back matchup is really exciting. Damon Claiborne for Wake and Jamari Taylor, who resurged against Cal for Virginia. Claiborne was bottled up a good bit against Florida State. I mean, that's the other part where I'm just not that worried about Virginia here because of how Wake looked against Florida State. Like, by far Wake's worst game of the season, unless maybe you want to talk about Kennesaw, even though they did win. So I just am not that worried, and I don't know if that's wrong, but I really feel like Virginia minus 6.5. I think Scott Stadium's going to be rocking, like you said, night game, and Virginia still has a ton to prove. Like if Virginia hadn't had all these close calls, and if they blew out North Carolina, and if they had blown out some of these other teams, Washington State, they probably wouldn't be 14th right now. So they've got to deal with that. And I did love Chandler Morris saying he wasn't going to watch it. I mean, do you believe that, Mac?
Yeah, I mean, he's a coach's kid. He's grown up in it. He knows.
But he at least sees it. You know what you're ranked, right?
I mean, he'll see it today, or the next day, whenever. He'll know it. But I think there's something to it, just focusing, because it really doesn't matter. The way I'm looking at it is I want an automatic bid. We're in first place in the ACC. I've got to win every game in front of me. And that's you're in. Win and you're in. For them, that's 100% accurate right now, given the climate of where they are and where they rank in this ACC standing right now. And just to go back to Wake for a second, and how would you defend them? If I'm Virginia, I'm loading up the box. I'm daring them to throw. I want them to throw. And can I keep the ball out of, Damon Clayborne's hands as often as possible with just taking that away and understanding that he's a beast, he's a monster. Is he fully healthy? I don't know. So we'll kind of see that. But yeah, I'm daring them to throw the ball as many times as I can. I want to make it very unfavorable to try to run and heavy box, blitzes, twists, stunts. That would be what I do defensively. And you look at their defense, I think that's still a very good unit. Those two safeties are as freaky as it gets, kind of led by Nick Anderson there, who leads them in tackling yet again. It feels like since he's been there 100 years ago.
How many years has he been at Wake Forest?
He's an old guy. I think he's working on his master's. He's about done. And when he told me it, I think it's something pretty impressive too. So,
well, it is Wake Forest.
Yeah, very, very respected institute there. So, but he's a beast, and Patterson in as well. So, just see, do they turn it back up? Are they back to being that physical team, that we saw against Georgia Tech, that we saw against SMU, that kind of took a day off, against, Florida State there. So I'm fascinated in it. I think I'm with you. I'm not scared about this game like I was last week. I really was. I thought that was perfect scenario for Virginia to lay an egg. Give me the Who's comfortably, and maybe even that double digit. I like that. I think 10 plus is the move.
I just feel like Virginia is going to handle this here.
But let me say this. That's when we get snake bit. When we feel good.
Like North Carolina,
bam. There you go.
Yeah. And I picked Cal last week, remember? Bold.
Yeah.
Mac, I do have the pleasure. We are seeing my in-laws this weekend. I'll be watching this game with a proud Wake Forest graduate, my mother-in-law. So I can't root too openly for the higher ranked team there. And in the
they're your Who's. You just need to let her know.
Yeah, they're my Who's. Sorry, Deeks. They're my Who's. Okay, Mac, let's get to our next ranked team here. Number 15, Louisville. And I said this to you off air, but I did say it on air. I am curious if Louisville was undefeated, where they would even be in this poll, just how these people are acting, these people. All right, Louisville's hosting Cal. They're a 20.5-point favorite, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. The bad news for Louisville, Isaac Brown is out for the foreseeable future. He was helped off the field in Lane Stadium against Virginia Tech, and Jeff Brum saying that he's out and we don't know for how long. That's a problem. Now, do you need him to beat Cal? I don't think so. You've got some other backs that have shown themselves, but Miller Moss does need to play better than he did at Virginia Tech. There's been so many surprises in the ACC, Mac, but one of the more pleasant surprises has been Louisville's defense. We had some questions about them. They've been outstanding all year. They're number 1 in total defense. They are number 1 in passing defense, number 3 in scoring defense. They've got 12 picks. This is a big challenge for Cal and young Sagapolatele, who has been pick prone at times.
That was pretty good.
Say it right?
That was pretty good. I think it's Songa, not Saga.
Sagapolatele. It's a great name.
Very good. He does have a great name. He has a great arm, and he needs to bounce back, but I don't know if that's going to be this week. You mentioned that defense, and like you said, I mean, we just didn't know. They lost a ton of leadership, a ton of production, and that's hard to replace, but they've done it very well, and guys have stepped up. It's been fun to see, just at different times, TJ Quinn continuing to be a dog. Had double-digit tackles a week ago. To see Clev, from Coastal Carolina there be a monster. I hope he comes back. I think he will. I think he's got a big, bright future, ahead of him. Why not capitalize a little bit more here? But just the way that they're doing it is really fun to see. Running the football, obviously, with Isaac, going down. You've got Keyshawn there that I think has been great. And he's going to get a heavy dose, but then also Duke Watson, is he coming back fully ready to go? Then you're in a great spot, right? And I know you want Isaac because he is very electric and can literally score from anywhere. But you would think that those two can be his one and kind of come together there. The secret is everything you just said about Miller Moss. Not only putting the ball in jeopardy, but just make the right play, and you can do it. I've seen it up close in person, where it's just methodical, just boom, 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 boom. Get the ball out, march downfield, get the ball to Chris, get the ball to Colin, and just get out of the way. Let them do their thing because they're that special of players. And can they do it? We'll see. I think so. I think they certainly can. And, that's a big number. 20 is huge. But obviously they're thinking something we're not. And this is a good opportunity for Louisville to flex those muscles and to show everybody, kind of what I'm saying about I think they should be in the top 10. And I know they lost to Virginia, but you just look at the way ahead. You look at how they're playing. You look at the win, not just the loss, the win that they have. over a number 2 team in America at their house at that time is impressive, and you should be rewarded for such. So that's kind of where I am on the Cards, and think that they really need to show out and show up. Can you pick that freshman off? He's been a little turnover prone, like you said.
Yeah, he has. And I believe in this Louisville defense for sure. And I do think Louisville's in a unique spot without Isaac Brown. They do, if they get Duke Watson back. I mean, they have some other really good backs. Keyshawn looked really good too at Virginia Tech. And there's no concern, Mac, about Louisville looking ahead to Clemson and looking past this game because Clemson's terrible. So overall, I think Louisville wins the game. The spread, that's too many points for me, Mac. I'm not sure I'm taking Louisville to cover that without Isaac Brown.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just think back to how they kind of played around with Boston College in their last home game. So that worries me a little bit from that number. But I think Louisville
I hear you. Again. I think that's certainly a point to be concerned. I think when you look at, okay, what is each team good at? Cal, pretty good at throwing the ball. Louisville, really good at pass defense, have gotten their hands on a lot of footballs, have knocked a lot of footballs down. Cal cannot run the ball to save their lives. I mean, it's just not good. There's no threat there. So kind of inversely of what I just said about the other matchup, I'm going light box. I'm daring you to run. I want you to run. I want you not in rhythm. I don't want you to throw the ball. I want to really, stress you, make it difficult for you. But there's also opportunity in the fact that they do pass the ball so much for, like I said, big, Clev Lubin up there to do his thing, to get after this quarterback. Still a freshman at the end of the day, still doesn't like to get hit. You get to him early and often. This could be that runaway. I'm actually going to go with the Cards. I'm in the spirit of the ACC making noise, and the only way we do that is to have some big old butt whippings.
I love that, Mac. I love that. All right, let's get to Miami. Miami in November. It's a terrifying thought. Number 18, Miami, is hosting Syracuse, a rematch of last year's game that kept Miami out of the playoff. And now we'll see if Miami can run the table. They've got 4 games left in November. They're done with bye weeks, and they've got some opportunities, right? They've got Pitt at the end of the year, but they need to make statements in these games against Syracuse, against NC State, and against Virginia Tech. You need to win each of these games probably by 30, Mac. Yeah. And that's where this starts. Miami's a 28.5-point favorite, 3:30 on ESPN. Where is Miami mentally? I mean, that's the big question coming off of that game. And here's the way I look at Miami's 2 losses. I think against Louisville, I think Louisville's a good team, and I think you were out-schemed. I mean, Jeff Brom's out here with 3 quarterbacks on the field. Like, they're literally throwing the kitchen sink at you, and they played out of their mind, and it didn't feel like you really matched that. Yeah. SMU, I'm not sure you were out-schemed, and I'm not sure you were necessarily outplayed. It almost felt like you were under-prepared. Or just weren't up for the game. And that's what's more concerning, right? SMU lost not because SMU is worse than Louisville, even though they are, right? They're not ranked. But it was just how Miami looked in that game. Right. I'm concerned about just this program overall. Like, how can they get over this hump, Mac? And if you can't prove it in this November by beating everybody by 30 that you have left, I think you got serious issues that I'm not sure how you fix them.
And I think this is a great game next, right? Like playing these guys. Who Syracuse is playing so bad. They've made staff adjustments. Fran has gotten rid of some guys, moved some guys. And it's all because of, it literally all stems from Angeli, not being able to go. And it just goes to show you how important that position is and what that can do for an entire team. And so they've got, quarterback controversies. Who the heck is going to run out there? 4 of 18 for a true freshman that was, I think, a lacrosse player is what I heard. That ain't going to work. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives. They couldn't stop the run. And Gio Lopez had his most efficient day throwing the ball. So this is and should be, and these are the type of games I'm talking about. Yeah. Miami, you have to win by 30. You have to do what you did in Stanford. Maybe more. For the whole game. Not just a half, not have a scary first half and turn the ball over and look dumb and then bounce back. The whole game, from start kickoff to the last whistle blown, I need a dominant performance. I need you upset. I need you angry. I want you to prove a point. And that's what I would be saying. If I was Mario Cristobal, I'd look everybody in the eye and say, what do we want to do? If you want to go to the playoff, we have to kill everybody. That's just what it is. And if y'all want to do that, let's do it. I want to coach that way. If not, we can go back to the Pop-Tart Bowl and awesome. That'll be so much fun, And so to me, KG, you've got to run the ball at will. I mean, the fact that North Carolina ran for 210 yards on 40 attempts, line it up, knock it down. That's the mentality. An offensive line that I love still, but they've been reeling a little bit. They have not played to their potential these last couple of games, and that's frustrating to watch because there's a lot of talent up there, as there is at a lot of different positions for them. Defensively, do not make dumb mistakes. Do not have stupid penalties. Play the game with discipline. Respect the game. Line up and hit what you see. That's the only point that I'm kind of making here, and you have to do it big. And I think they can. No question in my mind. But can you get out of your own head? Can you play discipline? And Carson, pick your head up, bro. Stop looking down. Stop woe is me. Don't throw anybody under the bus. I don't want to hear anything other than what's next. I'm here for my team. Let's go to work.
Well said, Mac. I'm not sure there's much to say about Miami Syracuse, right? Like Miami, they should win this game by 30. I think they need to win it by 40. And continue to look better and run the ball. I mean, how many times did I text you during the SMU game?
Yes.
Why isn't Miami running the ball in the red zone?
Right.
Crazy to me. Can't have the interceptions, can't have the penalties. He had 12 penalties against SMU. Everything that Miami fans who are listening to this know. And Miami, you need to fix it. Okay, let's get to, there's 4 games left. I really want to talk a little bit about Clemson, Florida State, and Duke, UConn. SMU, BC, Stanford, North Carolina, we can SMU, BC, we can hit on for a second. But Mac, the marquee game of the year in the ACC is not Clemson, Florida State. Clemson, Florida State, 7 p.m. on ACC Network. Vegas keeps favoring Clemson. I don't understand. And Vegas is here to make money. And I'm baffled. Florida State looked way better against Wake Forest. Mac, I thought some of Tommy Castellanos in his quotes after the game talking about Mike Norvell, really interesting. If you believe what Castellanos says there, Norvell has not lost the locker room. I mean, that's and of course the way they played against Wake, maybe he hasn't. So that's really interesting. Has Dabo lost the locker room at Clemson? Because this is a team that, I mean, so many things have been said there, but you're fighting, clawing to make a bowl. I think the biggest question mark here, of course, is that Clemson defense. The offense has looked fine. Cade Klubnik played pretty darn well against Duke. Yeah. And can we see some more Gideon Davidson? That's really what Clemson fans want to see, obviously, because he looks incredible. But it's going to come down to this Clemson defense. And can they slow down Florida State? Deuce Robinson, coming off the game he had against Wake Forest, he sees that Clemson secondary, and he's like, I'm about to go for 300. That's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, please know where that guy is. He's pretty easy to spot. Wearing number 0, he's like 6'10", just Adonis looking guy. Cover that one. 2 guys at all times. You want to be on top of that guy because they're going to push the ball downfield to him. I mean, if Tommy sees one-on-one, he sees a safety cheating, that ball's going that way. It's really easy to see, for a quarterback when you're out on that field. And who knows what either team is going to show up. And it is so disheartening and hurtful for me. Like I go on radio with EJ every morning and Jake there, and it's with SiriusXM. And it's just like the fact that there is no juice for this game. There was no trash talking between the two of us. There's no bet. It's just like, I think the question he asked was, who needs this more? Like how depressing is that to talk about both these teams? It's brutal. It's so brutal. And it just hurts. It just stinks at the end of the day. But it's still, these are the 2 mightiest brands. These are the 2 brands that are typically playing for championships and winning rings in this league. And your reward for that is ACC Network, 7 p.m. Here we go. But, I do want to see a competitive game. And maybe it will be. Maybe they're both so bad that it'll be a really good game and a very competitive game and back and forth. I
think there will be points.
There'll be points, and who steps up. There's something to both having really good offensive showings a week ago. I echo every single thing that you said there that I need to see 9 in the game. Gideon Davidson needs to be in the game a lot. I thought the game plan for him last week was perfect. Adam, still the starter, has earned that, deserves that. But 9 needs to be in there. And put them in there both together. I love that. 8 and 9. That'd be perfect. I'd love to see that. I also want to see 87 in there more too at tight end. He's I don't want to say wasted because I don't want anybody transferring, but he needs to be in the game more. He needs to play more. I would also like to see Tristan Lee and Jacob switch spots. I don't want the 6'7" freshman at left guard. I want him at tackle. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one thing that he played good though. I thought he played really well. That's kind of what I want to see offensively. TJ Moore get more targets. My God, please throw him the ball. Antonio Williams do his thing, and Cade just operate. There's a silver. I think your old boy Walt Deptula said this. There was a little bit of a silver lining with Cade being hurt. He had to stay in the pocket and he had to sit in there and throw the ball, and he did well. And
Great
I
point.
kind of brought that up a couple of weeks ago that would slow him down when he did get back. So maybe there's something to that. And, Florida State cannot rush the passer. They haven't done that well all year, so they better not be able to do it this week, against the Tigers and Clemson there. On the other side, we touched on, Deuce and them throwing the ball. Tommy's special. The things he can do running. He's going to try to make you look silly. You have to be disciplined, which Clemson has not been all year. Those linebackers are going to have a tough go of it, but also the secondary. 19 Danzy is a beast, and we've been talking about him since the first game. You better know where he is when he's in motion. The things that they are, going to try to present and do with him is special, and he's a really good player. And they have a thoroughbred backfield of running backs there. So it again, on paper, there's a great matchup and there's fun things to look at. It just hasn't translated to the field nicely at times, KG.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all, Eric McLean. I am not betting on Clemson. I feel like there's a little bit of a snake bit kind of situation. Like they're just going to find a way to lose. It's crazy. And I'm curious to see what this crowd looks like. Death Valley, night game, night game for Florida State. Everyone should be juiced, but that's definitely not what it is. Also, I do think if you ask who needs it more, I think Clemson does, because Florida State has 4 wins, and you look at their remaining schedule, they have Virginia Tech at home, they go to NC State, they go to Florida. I feel like they have 2 wins on here more than Clemson has 3. So Clemson probably needs this game more. Now, Mike Norvell needs this game more. So you can look at it both ways, but give me the Seminoles plus the points, Mac. I know. Give me a pick.
I will pick Florida State on TV, but I'm taking Clemson. Clemson. Let's go Tigers.
All right, let's roll through these last couple because one of my children is waking up. Okay.
Gotta go fast. Bring them on. They can talk ball.
I have 2 of them now. Duke at UConn. Duke minus 9.5, 3:30 CBS Sports Network. This is a classic. You better not, Eric McLean. Even though UConn's pretty good, they're 6-3. And did you know UConn is 11-1 in their last 12 home games?
Of course I knew that.
And Duke is going to UConn.
Yeah.
I don't love it, Mac. S&P Rankings has Duke as a less than a 1-point favorite, but Vegas has them as a 9.5-point favorite. I'm not taking Duke to cover. I'll tell you that much. I don't feel like I'm taking Duke to cover. Duke only won this game by 5 points last year.
What if I told you that UConn's quarterback was 22 tutties on the season with 0 interceptions?
He has 0
2,500 yards.
Get out of here, Mac.
This guy's dealing. This is a good team. UConn's a good team.
Woo.
And they got a great running back in Edwards that can do any and everything you want with the football. He's a sledgehammer, has speed, finds his way in the end zone. Really, really good player. Bell, they'll just throw it up to. This guy has 11 touchdowns on the season. That's very impressive. Literally half of the quarterback's touchdowns are going to this cat. And you just need to be who you are. So clearly the defense struggled a week ago and got housed by a Clemson offense. But the good thing is you got Darian Minson and you've got Cooper Barkate there and Nate Shepard and the boys kind of doing their thing. So this could be a shootout. It could be really interesting just to see kind of where the numbers end. It's 66.5. I love that. Give me the over. I think Duke probably going to find a way though. Maybe get him his first interception. Who knows? Get their hands on the football. I think they find a way. Give me the Blue Devils to cover.
Mac, they better win because we do not need a Duke in the ACC championship that has lost at UConn. That'd be tragic.
Be pretty typical, though.
All right, which team do you feel better about covering here? SMU minus 11.5 at Boston College, noon, ACC Network, or North Carolina at home against Stanford, North Carolina minus 7.5? I tend to lean the Tar Heels covering here. I think the Tar Heels have some confidence coming off Syracuse. I think Stanford traveling back out east is just, it's torture what we do to these Stanford and Cal athletes. It's absolutely terrible. I kind of feel better about North Carolina covering. And SMU has been, besides their road win at Clemson, if they play anything like they did against Wake Forest, that could be a close one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think with the SMU Boston College deal, like BC has been so bad at stopping the run, except for when they play Notre Dame. And again, they had that 94-yard run. So if you just look at the box score, you need to look at all of it. They shut down Notre Dame running the football. SMU has not ran the ball very effectively. So can they do that today? Maybe we'll see when they line up and play Boston College. And North Carolina, I don't know about that. I'm still up and down about them. And just to see, can they continue, which they have played well. Give them credit. I mean, they've looked like a totally different team.
It's a small number.
Yeah, it is a small number. The last couple of times we made a touchdown and more. So we'll see there. I think I feel better about my boys in Dallas getting it done at Alumni or Chestnut Hill Alumni Stadium there.
I think SMU definitely has gotten some confidence from that Miami win. But again, where is Kevin Jennings? He said that his leg started miraculously working again during the game. I don't know. He actually said that. I don't know where his leg is going to Boston College. And then Bill O'Brien was
attached to his body, but who knows? Maybe it's not.
Bill O'Brien's fired up.
We'll see. Yeah, he is fired up. He is fired up. We'll see. I'm fired up too. Let's get these rankings right, guys. Let's continue to win. Take care of business. Pittsburgh, you got an opportunity next week. Can't wait.
Pittsburgh can't lose this week. Georgia Tech can't lose this week.
Can't hurt us. It's big. It's big for me. Appreciate you guys always. Jump in the comments. Tell us what you think about this weekend. Tell us what you think about this playoff. Are you as emotional as I am about this thing? Maybe not, but maybe you are. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts. Yeah. Just give me some eye rolls down there too. We'll see. But appreciate you guys always. Go subscribe. Jump on this journey with us. We really appreciate that. But until next time, we'll see y'all.
Rollback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips, custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rollback, period.